What if the most dangerous storm of this week had no name, no category, and no warning label at all? That is not a hypothetical question. That is exactly the situation unfolding across the Caribbean right now. How does 10 inches of rain fall on an island without a single tropical storm advisory being issued? By the end of this video, you will know exactly how and exactly what that means for your family this week. Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands all sitting inside a 7-day flood window now. The reason most people are not hearing about this yet is the same reason it is so dangerous: no official label. No label means no alert means no headline, and no headline means your family has no warning. That gap right there between the real data and the official warning is exactly what this video closes. Before we go any further, share this video right now because somebody needs it before tomorrow morning. So what is this thing, and why is it doing something that Caribbean weather systems almost never do? An old cold front crossed the Atlantic, broke apart, and left behind a single spinning fragment over the basin. Now, what does a normal Caribbean system do? It drifts east to west with the trade winds and passes through. What is this one doing, moving west to east backwards against the entire normal flow of the region? Why does that direction matter so much? Because backwards movement means it does not pass through and leave. It sits over the same islands day after day, squeezing out rain like a wet cloth being slowly wrung dry. Now, what is sitting beneath this spinning fragment? Ocean water running 2 to 3 degrees above normal. Why does the water temperature matter? Because warm water feeds moisture into any system sitting on top of it. Tropical or not, the ocean does not care about categories or official labels when it feeds a system. Backwards drift plus warm ocean plus stalled motion, what does that combination produce for a week straight? 8 to 10 inches of rain across the hardest hit areas. That is the answer, and that number is not a typo. Parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic could see 12 inches total before this entire event is finished. What does 12 inches mean in context? Haiti sees 2 to 3 inches for the whole month of April. Normally, this system is going to drop 3 to 4 months of that in under 7 days. That is the scale here. Now, here's a question I want you to sit with. What happens when heavy rain falls on already soaked ground? Saturated soil absorbs nothing. Every new inch of rain runs directly off into streets and waterways, all of it. And how fast do rivers respond when that happens across an entire island simultaneously, hours, not days? That narrow window between rain starting and rivers rising is what makes this flooding so dangerous. Here is the one rule I need you to carry into every day of this week without any exceptions whatsoever. Flooded road, swollen river, moving water at a crossing. What do? You turn around always. 2 feet of moving water rolls a car. 6 inches of fast current knocks a 200-pound person flat. I do not care how shallow it looks. I do not care how late you are running. Turn around and find another way. Now let me take you through the week day by day because timing is everything in a multi-day flood event. Monday, April 13th. What is happening right now as you watch this? The rain has already begun. Puerto Rico's eastern parishes receiving the first heavy rain bands right now, as in this very moment. Flood watch in effect San Juan, Ponce, most of the east coast that is a live active advisory right now. Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo already seeing street flooding in low-lying areas this morning. Port-au-Prince, more than 2 inches of rain today alone. What does tomorrow look like worse? U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Charlotte, Amalie, road towns, significant downpours and runoff begin tonight. Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart, Saba rain threat building right now, hour by hour into the evening. St. Kitts, Nevis heavy rain cells pushing through this evening. Keep your local advisory sources open. Now, Tuesday here is the question you should be asking about Tuesday. How bad does this actually get? Tuesday, April 14th, the spin tightens and the heaviest rain bands drive straight over Hispaniola. Haiti takes the worst of it, Port-au-Prince alone, looking at 2.5 inches in a single day. What does 2.5 inches look like on the streets of Port-au-Prince? I want you to really picture this. Markets underwater, roads become rivers, storm drains run backward, low neighborhoods completely submerged. Punta Cana, Santiago, Eastern DR, their worst single rain day of the week. Roads need to be empty by morning. Ixonofatir to Montego Bay, Jamaica, storms developing Tuesday evening over the western parishes, significant ones. Southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, fierce downpours arriving Tuesday, with very limited advance notice given. Cuba, eastern provinces, their own intensifying rain builds Tuesday into Wednesday. Interior areas, watch closely. If you know someone in Haiti or the DR right now, tag them, send this video. Do it before anything else today. Now, Wednesday here is where the forecast reveals something that changes the whole picture unexpectedly. The core of the system starts moving westward on Wednesday, tracking toward Jamaica and Western Caribbean. Your first thought is, finally, it is moving away from Haiti and the DR. That should bring some relief. Here is the question, though. Does the trailing rain shield move away when the core does? No, it does not. The trailing bands keep pouring over Hispaniola even as the core tracks west, and that is the problem. 4 to 5 consecutive days of heavy rainfall on islands whose ground has zero capacity left to absorb. At what point does a flood event become something more serious when the days stack up with no break in between? 2 rivers I need to mention specifically because the flood risk near them is the highest in the entire region. The Artibonite River in Haiti expected to push toward flood stage by Wednesday. What does that mean downstream you? It means communities near that river need an evacuation plan in place before Wednesday morning, not after. The Yaque del Norte in the Dominican Republic, same conditions, same risk level, same urgent timeline today. Who is in the most danger near those rivers? Elderly folks. Anyone who cannot move quickly when the water comes. When should those conversations with vulnerable neighbors and family members happen today? Not Wednesday. Wednesday also brings increased shower activity into the northern Lesser Antilles across several islands. St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Croix, elevated showers and local flooding potential midweek. The beaches this week, do they look inviting? Probably. Should you go in the water? Absolutely not. Rip currents across the whole region are dangerously strong this week. Stay on the sand and stay dry. For the fishermen, what do the seas look like Thursday and Friday? 4 to 6 feet across the Atlantic. Spiking higher near the system's core is that small boat weather number. Stay in harbor Thursday and Friday. Now, there is something curious happening in the Eastern Caribbean that most coverage is not mentioning at all. Saharan dust is moving through Dominica, Antigua, Barbuda, down through the ABC Islands. Right now, have you noticed hazy yellowish skies that do not quite look right today? That is the dust you are seeing. Now, here is the surprising part. What is that dust actually doing to storm development in the east right now? It is suppressing it. The dust layer holds back convection and slows storm formation east of the islands. But here's the follow-up question. How long does that suppression last? Only until the dust clears midweek. Once it clears St. Lucia, Barbados, Grenada, what happens to rain activity on those islands? It jumps fast. The dust buying time in the east is the one piece of relatively good news in an otherwise difficult week. Thursday and Friday, what does the ground look like on Hispaniola by now? 6 to 8 cumulative inches. Every waterway at or past capacity, rural roads washing out, emergency crews unable to reach communities. Puerto Rico's eastern mountains, Humacao, Caguas. What is the risk on the hillsides from Thursday onward? Mudslide risk serious and rising. Monitor NWS San Juan. Every single day through the weekend, do not stop. Cuba's eastern provinces around Santiago, heavy rain event arriving Thursday night, continuing into Friday. Jamaica flooding potential increasing Thursday as the system core tracks very close to the south coast. Now the weekend, and here is the question I want you to think about before I answer it for you. By Friday, this system has been active for 5 days. What do you expect it to do over the weekend? Most people would say drift away, weaken, finally give the Caribbean a break, and that would be wrong. A cold front drops from the north Friday evening and catches the odd spin and redirects it northeast. Southern Bahamas and Nassau, who expected them to take a significant hit this weekend, nobody did initially. From a relatively quiet week to getting seriously soaked Saturday and Sunday, that is the late surprise here. And for Haiti and the DR 5 days waterlogged, what does another round of weekend rain do to them? Re-triggers flooding, reactivates mudslide zones. Half an inch on saturated ground is half an inch too much. 7 straight days without meaningful relief anywhere. Is that the real danger in this forecast? Yes, absolutely yes. Now, the southeastern Caribbean is your week the same as the northern Caribbean this time? Not quite. St. Lucia, Barbados, St. Vincent, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago still technically in the dry season as of today. But here's the question, how long does that dry season last this year? Not as long as you might hope. Your dry season is ending roughly 2 weeks ahead of schedule, and it will not end quietly or gently. First showers develop over St. Lucia and Barbados midweek and not catastrophic, but the dry spell is finished. Trinidad and Tobago, port of Spain, Scarborough, heavy afternoon storms arriving Thursday, 90-degree heat, 90 degrees plus high humidity, plus building rain. What does that feel like to be outside and brutal? Drink water, pace yourself, stay out of direct midday sun on those heavy rain days. Heat exhaustion is real. What should you do this week if you are in the Southeast Caribbean while things are still relatively dry? Clear gutters, check your roof drainage, assess the drainage around your yard. Do it today, not next week. Central America, does this system reach there too? Yes, further than most people in the coverage are noting. Honduras and Belize Caribbean coast, elevated flooding risk the entire week through. Stay on your local alerts. San Pedro Sula already flooded earlier this season. What is coming this week more? Stay on high alert there. Costa Rica's Limon, Panama's Calan, heavy downpours Tuesday through Thursday. Local advisories are essential. Nicaragua's Caribbean coast scattered but intense midweek rain. Coastal communities monitor daily, please. Colombia's northern coast, Cartagena, Barranquilla, midweek rain plus coastal surge risk. Keep both eyes open. Venezuela's northern coast and Guyana, elevated humidity and increasing afternoon showers throughout the week. Now, what should you actually do with all of this information? Here is your 3-item list for tonight. First, can you honestly say you know whether your home is in a flood zone right now? If not, find out today. Second, do you have 3 days of water, food, and a working flashlight? If not, that gets done tonight. Third, do you know at what point you would leave your home if water started rising? Make that decision now. That third one, why does it matter so much to decide it before the water comes? Because panic is not a plan. When water is rising and roads might be going, that is the worst possible time to make a judgment call. Make it now, tell your family, and then you just execute when the moment arrives. No panic, no hesitation. And after flooding, what is in that water sitting in the streets after a flood event? Think about it for a second. Sewage, agricultural runoff, contaminated soil, all of it mixing together within just a few hours. Should children play in it? Should you wade through it? If you can avoid it, the answer to both is no. If tap water looks or smells off after flooding, what do? You boil it before anyone in the house drinks it. That single step prevents a lot of illness in the weeks after a major flood event. Please remember it. Now here's the biggest question of this entire video. What does this week tell us about this summer? Caribbean sea surface temperatures 2 to 3 degrees above the 30-year average across the whole basin. Gulf of Mexico, even warmer readings you do not normally see until June or July, sitting there in April. What happens to warm April ocean water when June 1st, the start of hurricane season, arrives? It does not cool down, it stays warm. It stays warm through August and September peak hurricane months. A nameless system this week is producing 10-inch totals. What does a named Category 3 hurricane produce? This week is the opening chapter of a story that the summer is going to finish writing for these islands. What separates communities that come through bad hurricane seasons from the ones that struggle afterward? The ones who come through started preparing before June 1st, not in May, not after the first watch. Now, hurricane shutters checked and operational, multi-week supply stockpile, evacuation plan your whole family knows. If those are not done in your household, what is this flooding week for you, if not the reminder to do them? Use this week as the rehearsal because the real performance may be arriving sometime this summer. The next video, what is in it, the full 2026 hurricane season outlook, you genuinely need to watch. Which islands carry the highest strike probability? Why the current ocean data points toward a serious season? What a direct major hurricane hit would actually mean for each island group in practical terms. If this flood week did not fully command your attention, will that next video? Yes, I promise you it will. Subscribe and tap the notification bell. Right now it drops soon, and you need to be there for it first. And this video, one tap right now, share it before you move on. Someone needs it before tomorrow. Post it to Caribbean community pages, send it to family group chats, tag people on these islands today. In this part of the world, we look out for each other. That is not a nice saying. That is how we get through. Stay safe, stay informed, stay above the waterline, and I will see all of y'all in the next one.